We are recording.
How do I share the agenda? Good evening. Well, looks like we have a quorum. Joe. Good evening. My name is Mark Elvon. I am chair for ANC 5F. We will call this meeting to order. We'll start with roll call. Commissioner Jones. See her online. Commissioner Jones, can you hear us? All right, we'll come back to you. Commissioner Sani.
Present.
Commissioner Williams. It's not present. Commissioner Galvan, I am present. Commissioner Anderson.
Present.
Commissioner Bishop Henchman.
Here.
And Commissioner Zenjan.
Present. Nice job on the last name.
I got it from Joe. I'll give him credit. And Commissioner Jones, just give it one more shot there. Be there.
Here. Present.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. Sure thing. We have a quorum, so we will go ahead and get started. We will first start with public comments. It's just 10 minutes total. This will give the opportunity for the public to discuss any items for the commission. And then that's up to 2 minutes per speaker. And then commissioners will also have an opportunity to respond after all of the public comments have been made. So we will open the floor up for any public comments. Either in person or online. Commissioner Jones, while we're waiting, I just want to let you know that Commissioner Williams has entered. She is present here.
Yeah. One person who's got it, so you want to come?
Okay. Do we have a, we recognize that person?
Sure.
We have we have a person from the public. Is it Nikhil? Nikhil, you'll be recognized. You can unmute yourself here shortly.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. So I want to be mindful of time. Hello, commissioners. My name is Nikhil Delahaye. I met all of you very briefly at the last meeting. I wanted to take this short window to be able to talk about what the community can do in relation to immigration protection. Right now, there's a series of resources available both on the ACLU site and the ILRC's site. And I've been doing my own work to be able to spread sort of red cards about know your rights and local businesses. And being able to bolster support in that sense. But I wanted to be able to have this forum to be able to discuss what we as an ANC can be able to do to make sure we support immigrants' rights in our community. I know I only have 2 minutes, but I was able to connect with the Public Safety Commission to be able to have the drafting for a resolution. So I'm currently working on that. It's been a very busy month, but I'm still working on putting something together with that team. But I wanted to be able to bring this to public comment as well, because I know we had a discussion last time after the meeting adjourned.
Great, thank you very much. I want to see if any commissioners would like to respond or provide any, I'm sorry, excuse me. Oh, we'll wait until after if there are any other public comment. Are there any others wishing to make any public comment at this time.
Okay.
Commissioner Williams.
Yeah, get my life together. We just kicked out 2 programs for the little kiddies. I ain't know this age that I think I am. I'm trying to get my life together. I would like to circle back to the last meeting, whereas I wanted to change my vote, and y'all wouldn't let me. But in according to Robert's rule, I had that right to do that. So I want to go on public record to have my vote changed. And if you need to look it up in Robert's rule, it's 45-8 and 9.
Okay, are there any other comments for in response to the public comment that was just stated?
I just wanted to say thank you, Nikhil. It was great meeting you during the last meeting. And I look forward to learning more and hearing about more resources if and when you join the public safety meeting.
Yeah, I'll add as well. Thank you for the discussion following last meeting and also for continuing this work.
All right, if there are no additional public comment and no response from commissioners, we will move on to officer reports. We'll start with the chair. I'll just make a note, first of all, congratulations to Commissioner Zenjon and welcome. Good to have you. This is the second public meeting for ANC 5F. And so we have the agenda, which is on our website, anc5f.com, where you can follow along. Today, we will go through, and minutes will also be taken and posted a few days afterward. We have a few announcements for today, but no actions for voting for today. So with that being said, I will pass it to the Vice Chair, Commissioner Anderson.
No reports on my
end. Commissioner Jones, your Secretary.
No reports on my end.
Great, thank you. And the Treasurer, Commissioner Sani.
Yeah, so I'm starting to get spun up on ANC 5F finances and just being a treasurer in general. In the process of scheduling a meeting with OANC on treasurer onboarding, and I think the remaining treasury-related item, and maybe Commissioner Anderson, you have an update on that, is the migration to PNC Bank, so we can get moving there. Yeah, nothing else on the treasury side of the report.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, which is approval of the agenda. Asking for commissioners if there's anything that is on the agenda or that did not make it to the agenda that would like to be added to the agenda. Please let me know now. There are seeing no additional comments. I want to just say that we'll do a vote by a voice vote for approval of the agenda. For all those in favor of the agenda, please say aye.
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 Those not in favor, please say nay. Okay. I can wait. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Hold on just one second. I can pass this to you if you need to see it. All those not in favor, please say nay. All right, in the eyes of the chair, the voice vote has passed with all in favor of A. We will move on to approval of the minutes. Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
We'll first start if there are any it's not quite a voice vote yet, Commissioner Jones. For minutes that were drafted, are there any recommended changes for the minutes?
Yes, I want to change my vote from yea to nay about the bylaws, constant, the agenda. Yes.
Okay, would you mind if I read the rule? So Commissioner Williams, at the last meeting, there was a vote on the consent agenda in which Commissioner Williams had voted aye, and then after the vote had passed, had requested to vote nay instead. At that time, I had denied that change in vote, and I am since being corrected by Commissioner Williams about what Robert's Rules of Order says about that. So I'm going to do a very quick reading of what that is in section 45(8). Changing one votes, except when the vote has been taken by ballot. A member has the right to change the vote up until the result is announced, but afterward can make the change only by unanimous consent of the assembly requested and granted. Without debate, immediately follows the chair's announcement of the result of the vote. So I read that as that was immediately after the vote had been written. So if there is unanimous consent to change the vote, then we will change the vote. So I would like to take a roll call for that vote. Roll call to change your vote. And if we have a second by anyone.
Chair, I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Bishop-Benjamin.
I don't remember, I wasn't in the room, but I don't remember her asking to change her vote. But did that request come before or after the result was announced?
It came after the result of the vote was announced.
All right, well, then I object on the grounds that that's not what happened. She voted yes. So I object.
Okay, so because there is an objection that this requires a unanimous consent to the agenda, so this change in the result of the vote is not granted.
Right, right.
Yes, because it requires unanimous consent. So if there's an objection to the change, then that means that it cannot change.
On the 9th, I can't change before business, before the results of the poll has been announced. Members can still propose for the grand certain actions that may change the result. It's just changing mind, not change.
I understand. Point of order, hold on just one moment as I clarify some items.
Within what you take,
So this is changing.
this continue. Have that right to change your vote.
Any of these actions is to apply to go after it has been to take immediately after the chair's announcement, before any debate or deliberations has been completed. Yes. For example, it is great to recognize the points of debate or chair for 10 minutes on the order counting the vote. But this is actually a member has a right to change the vote up to the time and but afterward can make the change only by unanimous consent of the assembly. Without
So you're telling me after y'all do a vote, if I decide to change my vote, I can't do it because it's no, listen, For
Okay.
minimum.
Okay.
Listen, for minimum. I get outvoted on everything anyway. So I'm not understanding why this objection to me changing my vote before any private business is taking place.
So what we just did is I brought it up to change the vote. I brought it to motion. The motion needs unanimous consent. It was objected to. So that means that there isn't unanimous consent. So therefore, it is not applicable to change.
Because June, okay. I'm glad it's on record. Because I've been talking about the Secretary General.
All right. So for the next order of business, hopefully folks can hear me now.
Yep.
Sorry, we're still on approval of the minutes. So as the meeting minutes were drafted by Commissioner Jones, you move to approve the minutes as drafted.
Yes.
Are there any objections? Okay, by a voice vote, let's do a roll call vote on this. We'll start with Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Sani,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yeah.
Commissioner Galvan, I vote yes. Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bishop Henchman,
Yes, sorry, yes.
yep, and Commissioner Zenjan.
Yes.
All right, the chair, there is a 7-0. The approval of the minutes has been adopted. Now we'll do announcement from commissioners. And this just gives an opportunity, a couple of minutes for each commissioner if they want to make any announcements or any other notes. And I'll just leave the floor open for whoever may want to make an announcement. Yep, Commissioner Sani.
Yeah, last month there was some discussion on unifying our committees under a single, unifying them under a Zoom account. I'm still following up with ANC on that. But basically seeing if we can manage that with what ANC has provided us, which means we don't have to pay for it. But if not, then I suggest we, and this will be a future item, but I suggest that we establish a second Zoom account for committee access that we can then firewall back from official ANC 5F general meetings. But still waiting on a response there. It's been busy with oversight season, so there's that.
Understood. Thank you, Commissioner Sani. Appreciate you looking into that. Are there any other commissioners? I think Commissioner Jones, you raised your hand.
I did. I think I just wanted to recognize, I know in Zachary Parker's newsletter and in talking with lots of neighbors over the last few weeks, knowing we live in Washington, D.C., and there are a lot of federal employees, I just want to recognize that there are resources and that people may be feeling some stress. And I just want to recognize that and add that we're here with our neighbors and happy to support and connect people with resources if they need them.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Are there any other commissioners who would like to make any announcements? I will make a quick announcement, taking myself off the chair, take my chair hat off. I have been, thanks to ANC 5F, negotiating or attempting to negotiate settlement agreements for two businesses. One, which is the Family Tree, which is a medical cannabis licensing that is at 4316 4th Street Northeast. There was a status hearing that happened on January 28th. I was notified of it on the 26th that it was at 1:30, and then it ended up occurring at, and then it ended up happening at 10:30. I did not see the email because of some of the work things, some of my paid job. And so the board dismissed ANC 5's F standing during that time. There were many hours that were spent on developing and researching the settlement agreement. I have requested the board provide an appeal process to give ANC 5F protest standing again on that settlement agreement, and I am waiting for ABCA to provide a response or formal vote hearing on that. I've been in touch with the owner and their attorney and let them know of that, and am currently in the process of trying to finalize the settlement agreement, which was at 98%, 99%. Everything has been finalized. I'm just waiting for the signature. In the event I get the signature, I will request from commissioners to have a special meeting to approve that settlement agreement if it comes in the next few days or in the next couple of weeks. So that's one of my updates. And the other one, which is the alcohol license for Edgewood International. I thought I was pretty close on the settlement agreement, and there was quite a few changes that was requested, a completely new document to review, and so we have been at a standstill since, even though we have already agreed upon the hours, negotiated the hours, the remainder has not been agreed to by the applicant. So I'm waiting more on that and have not heard from the attorney or the owner of that business at this time. So that protest is still in effect. That's all I have. Any other commissioners?
Can I have one more?
Yes, Mr. Sani.
In December, ANC 5F voted to support a request for relief for zoning on a series of lots on the 400 block of Franklin and 5th Street. The zoning hearing was last week or the week before, and it the BZA and OP both agreed with us on that, and so that project has been approved by the parties in it. So, whatever.
Thank you. Commissioner Bishop Henchman.
Thank you. And thank you for everybody's indulgence. I've been losing my voice, so I'm trying to not inflict whatever this is on people. So thanks for everybody's understanding. Two quick announcements. One, I think we just forwarded it to the Transportation Committee, and I sent it on to the Eckington community list, but DDOT has sent us a notice of intent to add several bus stops in Eckington and Edgewood associated with the Better Bus redesign. In Eckington, these would be stops at Eckington Place and Q Street, and then at New York Avenue and North Cap. There's a pair of stops in Edgewood, but I don't remember off the top of my head where those are. This may be something we act on as a commission, either to approve or to approve with condition. So we welcome, I certainly welcome feedback on it. I'm sure all the other commissioners do too. And then the second item is it's budget season, budget oversight season. I'm sure we'll hear more about it from Sam from Councilmember Parker's office in a moment. One item that I'm paying attention to is the pilot project to fund the Throne bathroom that we have in Alethea Tanner Park. This is a pilot of 4 bathrooms situated around the District of Columbia. We got one of them in Eckington in the park. Looking for feedback from the community. Do we like it? Do we not like it? Do we wish it did this? Any changes, in the hopes that we can speak as a commission on that budget line item, which will be coming up. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bishop Henchman. Any others? Any other commissioners? I'll take a quick hot second to talk about Harry Thomas Recreation Center. Harry Thomas Recreation Center, I attended a briefing by the Department of Parks and Recreation that gave an update on where they are at with that as of now. They are still kind of early in the scoping kind of design phase, and they're going to engage with community members. I think they have 5 different kind of community engagements. That was their second one. I think that was last week or the week before last. They have $18 million, which they couldn't tell me why it was 18 million or where that money, who developed that number. But it's a small facility, and I'm not sure the 18 million is going to give a lot for that. But now's the opportunity to engage with DPR and to hear from the community on what they really want to see at that recreation center, at that park and area. So I encourage members of the public and other commissioners, if you're interested in engaging, I'd love to partner with you and hear what you would like to see at that recreation center during the design process. That's all I have. All right, any other commissioners? None noted. We'll move on to item 7, announcement from representatives of elected officials. I will put 5 minutes each on. And Mayor's Office of Community Relations, are you available? Are you here? I don't see one. All right, seeing none, we will move to Sam Bonner from Ward 5, Councilmember Zachary Parker's office. Mr. Bonner, you have 5 minutes. You are on the clock.
Sorry for always being a little wordy here, but hey everyone, Sam Bonner, Councilmember Parker's office. I always encourage folks to go to ward5.us/news to see the most recent newsletter, which is where I'm often pulling from to highlight the important things from there. So obviously, as I forget which commissioner said this earlier, I was hearing it but didn't see that there's a number of resources available in terms of if you are losing your job or navigating housing uncertainty and other things in terms of federal uncertainty right now. So we put some resources in our newsletter for that and encourage folks to reach out to me if you're interested in learning more about what we're thinking about it and how we're hoping the city can respond in these next coming 4 years, although it will be a long slog ahead. 2 big announcements are that the Ward 5 Awards was rescheduled due to Tuesday's snowstorm. They're now going to be March 12th at 7 p.m. at Ivy City Smokehouse. So I hope to see you all there. But our Ward 5 budget forum is still happening. That's, I believe, next week, February 25th at 6:30, and that's at Friendship Armstrong, which is at 111 O Street Northwest. I encourage folks to you can sign or do our budget priority survey, and to sign up for the budget forum, I'll put those links in the chat when I'm done. The main other thing is just to know, performance oversight hearings continue. I believe I already shared about the budget last time. Sometimes I get confused, so confirm that I already shared more generally about the budget last time. But the hearings coming up this week are, in terms of that, regular folks can sign up for tomorrow's Board of Elections, as well as the Office of Chief Financial Officer, Office of Lottery and Gaming, and Department of Small Local Business Development. DC Waters on Thursday, as is the Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services. And then Friday has the Commission on Climate Change, Green Finance Authority, as well as DGS. So anything related to updating or fixing any kind of city-owned building. That's all I really want to highlight. Obviously, there's a lot more to share. In case I didn't share last time, again, I don't remember whether I did. I am moving into a policy role, which I'm excited about. But we are hiring actively. So I think we are going to be hiring someone either this week or next week who will be stepping into my role. But for now, feel free to reach out. I'm going to drop the links for the budget forum and the budget priorities survey as well as my email for folks to reach out. Any questions?
That's great. Thank you so much, Sam. Any questions from the public? Mr. Bonner?
I don't see a raised hand.
All right. Seeing none, any questions from commissioners? There are none. I have a couple, Sam. So first of all, congratulations on your promotion to the new role. For testimony, would you be able to drop the schedule for when the upcoming performance hearings are?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
that'd be great. And just a point about providing testimony. I know obviously you can sign up to, provide live testimony and you can provide written testimony. What is the typical deadline for written testimony? Because you can provide testimony even after the hearing is passed. Is that correct?
It is correct. It used to be a lot clearer in the old system. This is something I've been meaning to bring up to either the IT department or something. It was harder to sign up, but it was clear because each hearing had its own hearing notice. Now those don't get published as simply, but it's a lot easier to sign up through the link that I just chat. It's up to the agency, or it's up to the committee, I should say. Generally, I think a good rule of thumb is usually a week after the hearing, but I would reach out to the committee directly. That's if you want to know what the deadline is to submit, but you can do it through the website, through the hearings link that I just sent. But you can always reach out to the committee. Just go to dccouncil.gov, click on the council, look at committees, and find the committee that's relevant, and reach out to someone there.
Great. Thank you. And then one other question for you, taking off my chair hat, adding my commissioner hat back on. Last year in April, May, June timeframe, ANC 5F passed the District Department of Energy and Environment, the synthetic air quality permit for Fort Myer. There has been a portion of that resolution that DOEE never responded to, and it has been 9 months plus, almost getting close to a year now. And I just encourage Councilmember Parker to press the director at that upcoming hearing. I'm planning to testify myself, but that we really try to get the answer on what is happening. There were other, I recall there was more than 600 people that signed a petition to limit or remove Fort Myer construction from that area because of the amount of pollution that is happening in our neighborhood on a daily basis. So hopefully we can get some additional oversight on that particular resolution, so that we can get back to the community on their concerns.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think he had other hearings to go to for this week's one. I'm not sure what he's doing for next week's, which is the one that's on the government witnesses. So this week's is just for public witnesses for DOEE.
And when they say government witnesses, I'm sorry to interrupt. When they say government witnesses, are commissioners considered government witnesses since we're government employees? No, we're not.
No, you're considered a public witness, meaning anyone who's wanting to testify about the agency. Government witnesses are considered anyone who's representing the agency.
Understood. Okay.
So when I guess the director should be testifying the following week. I'm not sure what his schedule is that week, so whether he's going to be attending that. I will say, if you want to reply all to the email that you had sent, kind of sending the resolution to DOEE and saying, hey, you still haven't responded to this part, looping me in if I'm not already on that, and the council members on that, and I would say the committee as well. and kind of putting that in context, that'll be helpful, and it will make it easier for me to kind of flag it for the committee and for my team.
Understood. Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all I have. Any other commissioners? Thank you very much. Mr. Bonner, appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you all. I do have to hop to the 5E meeting, which is double booked tonight. So, but I appreciate you all, and let me know if there's any other updates that you want me to put in the weekly update in the newsletter about what happened today.
Great.
Thanks, y'all.
Okay. Moving on to item number 8, presentations relating to agenda items. There are none. So we will move on to the consent agenda, which there is nothing. So we'll move on to the action agenda, which there is also nothing. So we'll move on to other reports or presentations. So we'll have 10 minutes for each presentation and a 5 minutes Q&A. We will start with the presentation by DC Justice Lab's Jason Zeidenberg. Please apologize if I mispronounce your name, on gun violence prevention. Mr. Zeidenberg, are you online? Yes, sir.
Hi, all. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you very much. You're recognized.
Good evening. Jason Zeidenberg with the DC Justice Lab. Commissioner, I dropped some links into your chat. If you could repost them to the rest of the group, I'd appreciate it. Just 4 quick things want to cover. What is the DC Justice Lab? What are some of the issues we're facing around violence prevention in the city? What are some issues we're facing around making sure we're providing people with everything they need to be stable and healthy? And how might we work on some issues together? That's basically it, and we'll try to stick to the time here. Very briefly, thank you again for having this time for us. DC Justice Lab is a team of law and policy experts that work exclusively on DC justice system related topics. Basically, we bucket our work under prevention, prosecution, punishment, and policing, and really under all those buckets, just try to have the most evidence-based approach to have our city be a safer place. That's basically what we do in a nutshell. When we were talking about just this presentation this evening, we thought maybe just a minute or two on DC's gun violence prevention plans and why we think this is a big issue for our city. Other major communities around the country, Indianapolis, Baltimore, Buffalo, have seen sustained drops in gun violence and sustained drops in violent homicides as it relates to gun violence. They've done this because they've followed a strict plan that involved resourcing people to work in the community to de-escalate violence through various government departments and nonprofits, and really strengthen those programs to be able to do what we need them to do. DC has not been able to have that sustained effort around its gun violence prevention plan. A short article that was dropped in amongst the links there, which maybe you can read in the future. We think that this has made our whole community much less safe, and be interested in the Q&A how this has played out in your part of our community. So that's just one thing that's on our radar. A second bucket is just policies that we think create instability for individuals, and that increases the safety gaps that we all face as a city. I'm going to just reference 2 because I think it's an example of how we might work together in the future. One thing the DC Justice Lab is working on is to have a public hearing through our Committee on the Judiciary and Public Safety on the issue of jump outs. That's when police officers surround an individual, often in plain clothes, without necessarily the warrants or due process rights that would happen in other stops. Many of these cases are actually kicked out as soon as it gets to court, which means these individuals end up in jail, they end up arrested, ultimately are released. And this creates all sorts of collateral issues for that individual, their family, and their community. On that topic, what we're trying to do is have a hearing on this topic in front of our lawmakers so they can really make sure that MPD under oath answers some questions about these tactics. Another thing, if you've, most of the ANCs that I've worked with have great deal of knowledge of the federal system as it relates to the local system and how justice works in this community. We have a problem in this community around people who are either on probation or parole, who years after they've stopped committing any crimes, years after they've taken great efforts to get a job, get a good housing arrangement, are still on supervision, which means that those folks who work for the federal agency CSOSA that follows people on probation and parole, they're not focused on the people providing resources to people who really need our help. So we're looking to find ways to change the laws in DC so that if you're on probation or parole, it's been a couple of years where you're doing well, you can get off supervision so that we can reallocate the resources that we're spending on that, and that's mainly federal dollars. How might we work together on some of these issues? Like, a couple of thoughts is we could work with you all on a resolution around something that really is important in your community, but that also has citywide ramifications. We certainly would love to hear from you if there's something going on in your community that you think is a citywide issue that you think we need to be working on. The other thing is you may have heard something in the bucket of issues that I dropped this evening that sparks an interest, possibly around the gun violence prevention strategy the city needs, or helping people get off supervision if they don't need it. If you're interested in working on any of those, please be in touch with us. But the most important thing is hopefully you can see us as a resource in trying to figure out issues that you're grappling with in your neighborhood and vice versa. That is basically it. Hopefully that leaves some time for any questions that anyone might have. And thank you again for giving us the opportunity to just connect with you all this evening.
Thank you so much. We'll start with questions from the public. Are there any questions?
If you're online, you can use the raise hand feature to be recognized.
Seeing none, are there any questions from commissioners? Yep, Commissioner Sani.
Thank you for that crash course on what you all do. My question is, like, you mentioned the kinds of engagement that you could see ANC 5F having with the DC Justice Lab. Are there other examples of what you've done with other commissions that you could share just to get, like, our minds going, like resolutions you've supported or helped provide input on, or otherwise ways to better engage the community in the public justice system?
Yeah, I listed those as just two examples. I think some of the best things that comes out of collaborations, particularly at the ANCs, is they bubble up, not bubble down from an organization. So the resolutions that were done with many ANCs around the Police Reform Commission helped build support for a series of policies, many of which haven't been implemented, but at least to put them on the radar around how we can make better use of the resources that we're putting into our public safety system. Another aspect is if you're just clicking through our website and you see a topic, it's like, you may say to us, boy, it'd be great if somebody did a bigger investigation around this particular practice you may be seeing around policing, or this particular issue around what's happening in the nonprofits that serve people coming out of prison. These are the types of things that we were thinking about. But I'm also much more interested to hear from you all of things that are on your radar, which you may say, nobody's talking about this in the way it needs to be talking about. We can also be a bridge to the media. Certainly partnerships between ANCs and nonprofits go much further than just an individual ANC or an individual nonprofit trying to raise the profile of an issue. And certainly as it relates to the elected officials, in your community. If there are opportunities for us to engage with you where we see perhaps a council member could be better educated on an issue, that would be a great opportunity.
Thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners? No, I'll have one. First of all, thank you very much for taking some time tonight. Wanted to ask if there have been communities where gun violence prevention has been very bipartisan, and do you have, any recommendations for those types of initiatives that have really been adopted kind of unanimously by both parties?
Yeah, I would direct you to two buckets of information. Number one, if you were to go through that gun violence prevention article we dropped in there, you'll see the example of Indianapolis. Indianapolis is not a particularly blue place, and they are doing a much better job at not only marshaling a gun violence prevention agenda that's largely focused outside the justice system, but there's like wide public support for it. I'd also direct you to a report. It's only 2 years old. It's called Towards Shared Safety. There's a whole website up there, and it includes where this field has polled on the issues around addressing the core safety gaps, like mental health crisis prevention and coming up with alternatives so the police do not have to be involved in every response all the time. And they generally poll extremely well with people that identify as Republicans or conservatives. So for the most part, a lot of what we do is very mainstream and is very bipartisan. And if there's something very in particular you're thinking about, circle back to us, because probably somebody in the country has polled Republicans somewhere on this topic.
Thank you. And one other question, I think there's certainly a perception by some in the community where you have, large groups of people, loitering, right, and drinking or, whatnot, that somehow leads to more gun violence. Is there any specific data or evidence-based analysis that is kind of either confirmed or denied that those types of activities kind of lead to each other?
Yeah, this can be sometimes a little frustrating for people that have to engage with these questions with community members. I'm not aware of any research that shows a direct correlation between loitering or individuals hanging out in a particular spot and violence. Now, I may not be able to provide the counter study, the one that shows, the one that actually proves it, but I'm not aware of anything that proves the counter, that just people loitering in themselves is a driver of violence.
Understood. Thank you. Any other questions from commissioners? All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Zeidenberg. Appreciate your time.
Thank you all.
Next, we have on the agenda in other reports and presentations, BZA case 2108 update by Ilona Aliyah, and this is in regards to, 1928 Second Rear Street. Is Ilona Aliyah on the line?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. I also have Makiba, the architect, who is also a good friend of mine. So I'm wondering if it's better that he goes through it, just because I've presented a couple of times. Perhaps you guys want to see or want to hear from him, or it's up to you. I mean, we can just.
What is their? I'm sorry. What is the individual's name?
Makiba. So M. Gaines Kelly. You should see M.
Kelly. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me see.
We have made them a co-host.
A co-host. Okay. Let's see if Makiba can pull that up.
So is it on the screen or?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe while Makiba does that, I can give a small background for everybody that's here. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I've been the owner of this land together with my husband for the last 5 years. And it's been a bit of a challenge, to be honest. We have been we purchased it to build our home there. However, we found out that water and sewer were not available to go to the land. Therefore, it's really challenging in terms of building something when water and sewer is not available. So we have been looking at a few different ways how to make this more valuable for the community, so that it doesn't remain a nuisance lot, as many of you have probably experienced this. People, will throw trash, or maybe an abandoned car will end up there. The neighbors have to call the police to remove it, things of this sort. So then I got together with my friend Makiba, who I've known over 10 years, and he's an architect in DC. And I was like, what can we do here? How can we make this something that is valuable for the community? And we are going to the BZA to potentially subdivide it into 2 lots and have a smaller houses in each lot to provide, I guess, something that's more affordable versus what you can build by right, which could be almost like a 6,000 square foot home, which no one needs and can afford. So I don't know, I can't see anything on the screen yet. Makiba,
Yeah,
do you?
neither can we.
Neither can you.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. Maybe I can pull this up real quick. Give me 1 second.
Deans Kelly, are you having trouble?
I am. Let's see. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Effective cover sheet. Okay, I think I have it here. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of trouble. Have it. Okay, update. Oh gosh, update. I'm on my phone and computer. See if I could do this on my computer. I'm on my phone. There. Lana, are you on your phone?
No, I'm on my on the computer, so I can pull this up here in a second. Let's see, plans. Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, I got it. Let's see here. Share screen. Where's share? Okay, excellent. Share. Can you see this, guys?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
can see.
Thank you so much for the patience there, because when you need it, that's when it doesn't show up.
Of course.
You're like, ah. Okay, so Makiba, feel free to also interject here, but I can kind of like show everyone here at the ANC. This is the footprint of the lot. This is the dividing it in 2 and the footprint of the 2 buildings here. And here's what the front would look like. So basically the garage, and then a second floor. Let's see here where the cars go. Bedroom. The second floor. Plants. The roof terrace. Yeah.
So essentially, it's just the proposed where we're showing that the lot is chopped down the middle, somewhat equal. We, first and foremost, trying to get it subdivided to have it make sense financially. And then there's requirements for the structure, and for the most part, they meet the requirements as far as height and coverage are concerned. I think the last meeting they were asking us for some clarification on the lot being subdivided, which is that right there. That's the surveyor's plat, and what the final building would look like. So we have just some plans and some renderings, and of course they can change a little bit, but for the most part, that's it.
Yeah, so don't want to keep you guys too long, but if you have some questions, as I mentioned, the idea is to subdivide this to make the cost of bringing water and sewer a bit more affordable per lot, because we've gotten quotes anywhere from 150 to 500,000 if you have to do a loop around. So that's where we at. We have a BZA meeting in March coming up, and basically they will tell, we're going to be told what variances we need to comply with or put forth in order to make this happen in terms of splitting it into two. And just so you guys know, alley lots, they cannot be subdivided by right, whereas street lots can be subdivided by right into two. So there's a lot more restrictions here.
Got it. Thank you very much. We'll start here with questions from commissioners, then we'll go to questions from the public. Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I just had a question about the location, or you could just, if you could provide like a general area. You maybe mentioned it before, but would you mind repeating that?
So the location is 2017 rear 2nd Street. So it's between 2nd and 3rd. So it's in the back of 2nd Street. And then at the top is V Street. That's where this is at. So over, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but over here is 2nd Street. Over here is 3rd Street, and over here is V Street. So basically from V Street to get utilities over here, there's about 220 feet of alley. And then if you were to go all the way down to the next street and come all the way around, it's quite a bit.
Maybe zoom into that cover.
Thank you.
Okay.
Where do I zoom in? Okay.
Oh, the map.
Oh, the map location. Okay, here. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, good idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
2nd Street is here. This is the lot, which is quite large for an alley lot. That's why we were trying to see if we could get two smaller homes, which would be more in line with what are built over here on 2nd and 3rd Street. These are apartment buildings. It's bigger.
Yeah, surrounded by condo projects.
Yeah, condo projects are over here.
Thank you for that clarification. Can you remind me of the hearing date for the record?
I want to say it's March 18th, but I can double check.
Yeah, I'm looking at your BZA case file. It says it's March 12th.
March 12th. Thank you.
So unless that's been updated.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
And are you requesting, or has there been a request, maybe this is a question for Commissioner Anderson, for any action on this in the future, or does this next hearing require any action by the ANC?
Yeah. Yes, good question. It's been quite like the rabbit hole chasing over here, where I've gone to the zoning administrator, and basically they need us to put in the permitting. So I've applied for a permit, and then basically they declined the permit so they can give us a ZA memorandum, which tells the BZA what variances we need to apply for to be able to convert this into 2 lots. So this has been like a wild goose chase for the last, 6 months, and I'm still working with the zoning administration or the ZA, trying to get them to give me that memorandum. So I'm still in contact with them and hoping that I'll have that, within this month, so that I'm able to go in front of the BZA with that memorandum ready. That's what they need.
So as I understood it, this hearing is to provide some information to you for that variance, but that at this time, ANC 5F does not need to take any position on this, or is not being requested to take any position on this.
Well, I think basically the reason that we're going there this time, or they've asked us to postpone it, is that when I went in front of them in June, we didn't really have like exact drawings, and they were looking for exact drawings. So that's when I involved Makiba as well as the architect to be able to come up with those drawings. So basically we're showing them to you guys, and would love to get your feedback as the ANC, if this actually kind of like meets your standards or requirements, or if you think it's a good idea. And then you guys could either say, yes, we'd be okay with this, or no, we would not be okay with this, to the BZA. So I think what the ANC says is very important for sure. So that's my understanding.
Yeah, I think Chair Galvin, I think as with, yeah, I was just gonna say, I think as with many BZA cases, like many of these cases, the ANC always has the option either to support it, to not support it, or to not take action. And Lona, I think we've been very appreciative that you've come to us multiple times. We've asked for updates just so that we can have a more informed viewpoint on this. And I appreciate kind of the outreach that you've done to neighbors. I think your case file with the BZA has been updated a couple times. I think when I'm looking at it now, it doesn't necessarily have, I know previously there were a couple letters of support from neighbors. I may just need to go further, but I think just because it's been updated a couple times, I don't necessarily see them there before. But I know at least one of your neighbors reached out to us to express support for the project. I haven't heard from many other neighbors. I'm open to kind of us discussing this. I think that in general, I know that you have gone through a lot of difficulty in kind of getting, I know that you've gone through a lot of hurdles to get this project heard. And I really appreciate that you've come back with detailed plans, because I think it allows us to have a better look at this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will kind of, just to kind of, I think we also do have new commissioners who have joined ANC 5F in the new year, who may be less familiar with this project. So I just also wanted to give that background, that to kind of bring them up to speed as well.
Yes. And also just to add, Jennifer, thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. We've also spoken, a bunch of alley owners have been speaking with the Office of Planning, Matt Jessic, and others there. And they've also been very helpful, and they're working through different lines in the, laws in terms of how can they change them more favorably to alley lot owners, because they've been so difficult for us to be able to do anything with these alley lots. And just so you guys know, I've sunk in a lot of my life savings into it, and yeah, it's been really difficult to kind of like go through the different government bodies and try to like get what they need, and just like go to meeting after meeting and be sent to different departments. And yeah, it's been quite the journey.
Thank you, Lona. I know we've run out of time, but I'm happy to extend, if we extend this particular action by 5 minutes. Do we have a second for that? Second, Commissioner Sani is seconding. Any objections? Okay, we'll continue. Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I wanted to jump in and just mention I appreciate you kind of mentioning that this is kind of a big project for you. I know financially and also I'm sure emotionally as well, going through this process and finding out the lot isn't what you initially thought it was. So I do commend you for kind of coming here and sharing your the journey of this. And I also think this is really smart. I think housing is very expensive in DC, and um, uh, the demand rises. And I think this is a really smart way to kind of think about it, dividing into 2 lots and creating more additional housing um, while it's also affordable. So just want to put that out there. I think this is a really great project. And I know it does not seem like it's been an easy one for you. So thank you for coming in and sharing with us. And I look forward to more updates.
Thank you for saying that. Really appreciate it.
Any other commissioners? I'll say something real quickly if there isn't anything else. Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Anderson.
Yeah, I think also to add context, I think there are when this project was also brought to us initially, I think we had gotten reports from neighbors that the lot had also become a nuisance lot, that like because it was empty, that people were using it for dumping. I generally tend to agree as well that creating more housing is important. So I appreciate Lona's initiatives on this project. I know we don't currently have an action. We could certainly take an action. I just also kind of wanted to get an indication from other commissioners if you'd be in support of this project.
Thanks, Commissioner Anderson. I'll just mention personally, I walk this alley fairly often. The dog happens to like it more than the other streets. It is definitely an area that it's struggled, and I appreciate you taking this effort to develop a space. It's a very heavy lift, and my only concern is this is one of the only I guess urban forest patches, but I know we've already talked about this, and what you would be proposing wouldn't be taking out major trees, so pleased with that. And I think the only other concern I have is if they're going to put a huge sewer pipe in the back, if they limit the size of that so that we don't have every single portion of that forest patch taken up, right? And then there won't be anything left in Eckington, basically. So that's my only concern, but I'm generally supportive of it. So and would appreciate an action if that comes up. That's all I have. Any other? Yes, Commissioner Sani.
So just for general clarification, the zoning hearing that is in March is only to state these are the variances or exceptions you must seek, at which point this will come back to us for potential action or non-action.
A question for you, Lona.
Is it a question for me? I don't think I heard everything, but
yeah. So basically, that this next meeting coming up on March 12th is for BZA to come back, or BZA to tell you what variance is allowed, and then would you be coming back for additional feedback again, or is now the opportunity?
Yes, thank you for clarifying that. Now is definitely the opportunity because we've gone so many times back and forth. I am hoping that if Mamadou's office, the ZA, can give me that memorandum that they need, then they're going to be very clear in terms of what the variances are. I've already put the variances I need. I just need to confirm with the ZA. So if the ZA also gives me that memorandum, then I will present it in front of them. And then if they also have the support of the ANC for this case, they should be able to make a decision whether the lot is subdividable or not based on the information that they'll have at that point.
Great, thank you. Real quick, our time has expired again. Do we wish to, Commissioner Anderson, do you wish to add additional time?
I request adding 5 minutes to this discussion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bishop Henchman. Any objections? All right, we'll continue. Commissioner Anderson, go ahead.
Yeah, just for clarity, or just to help clarify, if you look at the public hearing notice, the hearing is to request an area variance relief from the alley record lot requirements, which I believe part of the big thing is the subdivision of the lot.
Correct.
Correct.
But also they would look at the plans, Commissioner Anderson, and say, okay, is that the only variance they need? So I'm hoping it's the only one. And or if they need to add another one, meaning like, you know, the building cannot be less than 5 feet away from the borderline type thing, right? So that's why we put the plans together, so they have something more clear to go on, and then make sure that you know, we have the required variances during the meeting.
Any other questions, comments from other commissioners? Okay. Sorry, is that someone else?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you very much for your time, both of you. And I'm sure we'll hear from you soon. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Anderson. I missed
I was just
something.
going to say, do we open it up to the public to ask questions?
I did at the beginning. Oh,
Okay.
maybe I didn't. Are there any folks from the public who would have any questions? Thanks, Commissioner Anderson, for being honest. Commissioner Bishop Henchman.
I just wanted to sum up, what is the next step on this?
So, Commissioner Anderson, do you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I mean, I think the next step is we could either choose to vote as a commission to support this variance. I don't think that action is currently on the table. We do have another meeting before the hearing, I believe, because I see that the record is March 27th. We have a meeting on March 18th. So we do, I think if that timeline tracks, we still have next month to take action on this. I don't currently have an action proposed, but I am open to other commissioners proposing an action. I think this was really helpful for Lona to come back, because I think the last time we discussed this, the plans were a little bit more abstract. So this, I think, adds some more detailed context.
Yes, Commissioner Williams.
I'm not clear. Do she have her variance already, or is she going into this hearing to get her variance?
As I understand it, she is going into this hearing to get her variance.
So what will we be voting on?
So we would be voting on supporting the plans as they are drafted to obtain this variance. Is that correct?
Correct.
If we were, well, there's no vote currently on the table, but if that could be a proposed action, and Commissioner Anderson is saying that that proposed action wouldn't come at this meeting, it could come at the next meeting if someone responds.
I got that
Okay,
part.
understood.
I'm just not understanding why would we vote at the next meeting before she got the clearance or the understanding of the variances?
Because it could, as I understand it, if the ANC votes to provide support, it could give her additional weight to go before the board. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And she's filed for it and it's pending.
I understand that.
She has filed for it though?
I understand that portion. What I'm not trying to understand is voting to support and it's still in pending motion. She wouldn't have no weight in that. Now, once they do the variance, we can vote, and that she will have weight in that portion.
I'm not a zoning expert, so I'll let others who may have.
I've been doing this since 2016. But go ahead. Y'all don't listen to me anyway, so go ahead.
Okay, so we'll, as I understand, moving forward, there could be an action next meeting, Ms. Leah, and we will be in touch.
Okay, so my
Anything else?
understanding, Mark, is that in this meeting, you guys are not able to vote because maybe you're missing something to vote.
So there is no current action on the table to vote for it. There could be an action at the next meeting unless there's a request for a suspension of the rules to add this, but nothing has been drafted for this particular meeting. And since there's another meeting coming up that will occur before the next one, that could be a time in which ANC 5F could vote if someone sponsors it.
Okay, and then do you want
Yes.
me to present again in a month, or what's?
I'm not sure. I'll defer to other commissioners. Commissioner Anderson, you had raised your hand. I wasn't sure if you wanted to speak.
Oh, no, I was just going to clarify that we currently didn't have, I just wanted to make clear that there wasn't currently an action on the table. But yes, we can, I just wanted to make sure that you had the opportunity to come back, Lona, with your detailed plans, because I think it's quite an update from what you had last time. So you had an opportunity to present it to both to the ANC and to the neighbors who are present so that they get a better understanding of what you are planning. And I think just what Chair Galvan is saying is just that, like, the ANC always has the option to either support, to not support, or to take no action. So I think at this particular juncture, there isn't an action on the table. We want to make sure that you had the platform to come and discuss your updated plans. And generally, our cadence, as you know, has been that you come and present so that people have time to take action, to ask questions, so that people are able to kind of ask, get more acclimated and have a better understanding of your plans before you take action. So I really appreciate, I know that you've been speaking to different bodies, and I know it kind of feels like you're in a hamster wheel. So I really appreciate you coming back and speaking with us and presenting.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. All right, we will move on to the next order of business.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Yes.
I had trouble hearing Commissioner Williams, and I just wanted to see if I could get clarity. What was the reason that I think she was expressing we could not do a great rate resolution on variance. I may have misheard that or misunderstood it, but I'd just like to understand what the concern was.
Commissioner Williams, you want to respond?
I was asking, were you trying to vote on a variance that has not been set up yet? That's all I was asking.
And then we clarified that we are not voting today, but that we would be voting, or could potentially vote if someone sponsors it at the next commission meeting.
Right. Like, how would we wait for it to be granted before we weigh in on whether it should be granted? I'm not understanding that.
I believe the premise, correct me if I'm wrong, that Commissioner Williams says that that's the cart before the horse, that you would first want to, you first wait until the variance comes in before you vote on it. And I think you're saying, Commissioner Bishop-Henson, the opposite. Is that a fair assessment, Commissioner Williams? Okay. So I think there's just a disagreement on how that process should occur. That's all.
Just
Belabor, thank you.
happen. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
As you can say, I won't belabor it. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones?
I was just curious how this had happened in the past, or what is or what should be expected from the process. But I think we can move on and just plan to do it in the next meeting.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, we'll move on and we'll follow up, Mr. Jones. Moving on to Damian Cosby, PGA Executive Director and co-founder, Michael McCartan of National Links Trust to discuss project rehabilitation of the historic Langston Golf Course. Are they on the call? Oh, or they're in person here. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. And you are? Mike McCartan. Great. Thank you very much for joining. We have a mic here for you. You can come up.
All right.
Floor is yours.
Thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity. My name is Mike McCartan. I'm the co-founder of National Links Trust. I'm here today to talk about historic Langston Golf Course. It's located at Benning Road and 26th Street within Ward 5. So National Links Trust is a 501c3 nonprofit that a friend of mine and myself started in 2019 with the mission to positively impact communities through affordable and accessible golf. We started National Links Trust in order to put in a bid for the lease for the 3 Washington, D.C. golf courses, which are East Potomac, Rock Creek, and Langston. And we have a 50-year lease now with the National Park Service for those courses. The purpose of the lease is to address like an absolute ton of deferred maintenance at the 3 courses. The National Park system is not really in place to manage golf courses. It's not really what it's set up to do. And golf courses, just like any other thing, require kind of continual reinvestment in order to remain viable. And that just didn't happen over many, many, many years. So the Park Service and their, to their great credit, realized that that was not going to be a viable, their current management system or the former management system was not going to be viable going forward. And they moved towards a long-term lease to be able to facilitate investments into the courses and better management in the future. So we set up National Links Trust as a nonprofit to ensure that any dollars that come into the courses are just getting put right back into them. But it's a really big project. And so as we think about Langston and what the deferred maintenance means there, I just wanted to come and kind of give people an idea that we are making short-term investments into the course, addressing things like deteriorating cart path or roof falling apart or things of that nature that need to be done in the very short term, but that the general plan is to do a larger rehabilitation project in the future. And that project will involve a ton of public engagement, and we just want to kind of give people a sense that that's coming down the pipe in the future. There's a lot of ways in which kind of deferred maintenance shows up at the courses, whether it's the clubhouse needing a lot of work, or it's the relationship of the golf course to Kingdom Lake and the Anacostia River, where invasive vegetation is kind of growing up along the edges of the river. It's creating a really unhealthy environment and something that is a really big project to address. There used to be a stream that ran through the golf course property before it was a golf course. There might be an opportunity to rebuild that stream. The golf course is just a really incredible resource to the city. It's the home to black golf, not only in Washington, D.C., but it's really kind of the spiritual home to black golf across the country. It's just got an incredible history of kind of who's who of black golfers from the 1940s through today. I've played there. Lee Elder, who's the first black golfer to play in the Masters, was actually the manager of the golf course for 8 years in the 70s and 80s. And it's a history. One last thing, probably the most important thing, it's really served as a home to community not just as a golf course, but as a community center. And as we look to the future, investing in that element of the course to continue to make it serve not just as a home for golfers, but as a home for the community is really important to us. And indicative of what we think is important about these spaces, just they're big places within the city, and it's important that they feel like part of the city for everyone and not just for people who play. So obviously we will keep you all informed as as the process goes forward. It's likely to start in the next year or two. So it's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. We'll keep everyone in the loop as that goes forward. There are certain guiding things that will kind of develop the scope for the project. The golf course is on the National Register of Historic Places, so there are pretty detailed and strict guidelines about what things can be done on the course or in the clubhouse with the structures out there. So we will be following that, but there's opportunities to engage within that context for the community about what the program of the clubhouse and golf course would look like down the road. In the meantime, as we move towards that future rehabilitation project, there are some cool things going on right now and over the course of this year. We have an exhibit in the clubhouse right now. We have a really amazing museum studies intern who's working with us and is at George Washington University. We put together an exhibit, a photo exhibit about the first golf tournament that was held at Langston in 1940. It's currently being shown in the clubhouse. It's open to the public. It's a really neat thing, showing the golf course at the time and all the people who came out from the tournament. Joe Lewis played in the tournament. It's a really, really neat thing. So we encourage anyone to come out and see that. And then over the course of the spring, summer, and fall, we have free lesson Fridays at the driving range there, where the instruction team out at Langston provides free lessons to anyone from the public who's interested in trying out golf. We have clubs, we've got balls, it's totally free. We've got really great instructors, and it's a cool place to be exposed to the game. We encourage anyone to come out. We'll provide more info about that. That's kind of the lay of the land.
Great. Thank you very much. Are there any questions from members of the public? Seeing none. Questions from commissioners? Commissioner Sani.
Could you describe where y'all are located in Ward 5, just to get a point of reference?
So it's on Benning Road, right before the Benning Road Bridge, right next to the streetcar barn there.
Got it.
And so the golf course borders Kingman Lake and the river. In fact, like part of the golf course is on Kingman Island, so it's a really spectacular location in the city. If you haven't been out there, it's worth just going in.
Yeah, I have it open. It's also next to the Arboretum.
Yeah, borders Arboretum. Yep. So there's a number of projects, city projects, that are kind of like happening right now that are adjacent to that. There's a Kingman Lake Wetlands project, a lot of Anacostia River projects, and then there's the Arboretum Bridge crosses by just behind the golf course, and there's going to be a trail connection to Maryland. Is it Maryland Avenue back there? That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a trail connection there that is being, talked through that logistics. So lots of stuff happening.
Any other questions from commissioners? Seeing none, thank you very much for your time tonight. Appreciate it. All right, we will move on to committee and task force updates, 5 minutes each. I'll start with Alcohol and Cannabis Licensing Committee, Ms. Coughlin. You will be recognized. Can't hear you yet. Ms. Coughlin.
Is that better?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hi. Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm the chair for the Alcohol and Cannabis Licensing Committee. We don't have any updates. We don't have any new applications for alcohol or cannabis. We don't have any renewals. So all quiet on our front. If anybody has any questions, feel free. Otherwise, I'll just yield the time back.
Great. Thank you so much, Ms. Coughlin. Moving on to Public Safety and Health Committee, Mr. Aaron Price.
Great. Good evening, neighbors and commissioners. So my name again is Daniel Aaron Price. I'm the chair for our Public Safety and Health Committee for ANC 5F. Few updates for you all. First, I just want to give a big thank you to Jason from DC Justice Lab for coming out. I know that we requested him to come here, so thank you for coming on and talking all about your incredible organization and wonderful work that you do. So thank you for presenting. Some updates for everyone. We are once again moving forward with our community engagement strategy. We're looking at printing out more flyers. And at our next upcoming meeting on Thursday, this Thursday, we're going to be working on our door knocking script writing, just to make sure that we're talking with all of our community members in the way that we want to be talking with them when we're knocking on doors in the spring. An update regarding the gun violence prevention resolution letter. We have been sending it out to other ANCs to see if they can adopt that language as well. Currently, we have a commissioner from ANC 5D who is looking to champion the resolution in their commission, and that is going to be up for a vote in March. We're looking for more. All that being said, so commissioners or neighbors, if you have any kind of like introductions that you make between our committee and other commissioners across DC, we'd love to have that so we can start a discussion around this resolution being introduced in those various agencies as well. So feel free to send that over to me if you have any. That'd be greatly appreciated. Update regarding the moped and traffic violence resolution. This is going to hopefully be voted out of our committee come this Thursday at our meeting. And I just want to shout out Commissioner Sani for jumping on getting the TAPS committee engaged in this work too. We'll talk about what comes next because I would love to be able to like pass it through Public Safety and Health Committee and then maybe pass it through TAPS as well just to get another glance over it. It's worth it. I've been working on doing some of the literature review on it and it's lengthy. It's extensive. So thank you for that. And then just other than that, thank you again to Nikhil, who I hope is still on right now, for continuing to chug along on that first draft of the resolution for protecting our neighbors and various immigrant communities across DC. Looking forward to hopefully pushing that through our committee as well for a vote within the Greater Commission. Just a tip for neighbors, because we've been engaged with NOMA BID on some of their public safety committee meetings as well. Right now, NOMA BID is looking for properties that are interested in receiving a free camera, including free installation to place on their private property to monitor public spaces. If you have interest in doing this, receiving a free camera and the free installation, they ask that you reach out to Ruben Lechuga, who is NOMA BID's Senior Director for Public Space Operations. So please reach out. That would be super helpful for making sure that those spaces are nicely monitored. And then just as a reminder, our next meeting again, since we meet every third Thursday of the month, will be this Thursday, and that is February 20th, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. That's hybrid. We will be physically in the Eckington Community Room where we are tonight, or there will be a virtual option which you can find on our website. That is all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aaron Price. The next is Committee Task Force updates on transportation. Public, yeah, I'm sorry, excuse me, my apologies. Are there any questions from commissioners or from the public? Commissioner Williams, my apologies.
I have a question because I myself was about to team up with DEA and Scientology. We're talking about drugs, guns, and some more stuff. Can you send me your information so I can loop you in? Send it direct to 5F.
I got you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great. Anyone else from commissioners or members of the public? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the Transportation and Public Spaces Committee. Commissioner Sani.
Yeah, we had our meeting for February where we went through our kind of like our larger discussions of things that we know might be coming down the pike, or things that we've heard rumblings of, or just projects that we know we want to help move forward for safety in the public space in our community. And we started kind of divvying them up amongst members of the committee to draft resolutions to be discussed and perhaps referred up to the commission next month. Mostly around some sidewalk safety and some road striping fixes. Additionally, we did vote to change our meeting day. Tuesdays were no longer convenient, so now we are the first Monday of the month, which means our next meeting, I believe, is March 3rd. Still the same time of 7:30. And it is virtual only, and the Zoom link is posted on the committee page of ANC5F.com. But yeah, nothing voted upon.
Great. Questions from commissioners? Commissioner Jones.
Yes, Commissioner Sani, I just wanted to clarify, you mentioned you're doing resolutions on sidewalk safety and road. I may have missed a word there.
I think striping, like painting the road with stripes indicate this is where you should stop. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions from members of the public? Seeing, hearing none, we'll move on to the Committee on Zoning and Development. Mr. Stone. Don't see Mr. Stone present, so we'll move on to the Library Task Force. Mr. Garrett.
I don't think they're here.
Okay, I'll take this one since I was at the last meeting. There's a meeting last week where we discussed kind of the recent presentation by DC Public Libraries, and it was kind of suggested to poll folks on the committee, or sorry, on the Library Task Force to see if there are opportunities to take a look at other libraries that are in the area or in the city that were, especially those that were recently completed, so we can get ideas on what kind of designs and construction had done, and kind of get those creative juices flowing for what Eckington and Edgewood may get for their library in a few years. So that is going to be forthcoming for some time periods, either as a group or kind of on their own, to see things like the West End, Friendship Heights, Cleveland Park, MLK Jr., those types of ones, especially that have mixed development with those spaces. So that's all I have. More to follow on that. Moving on, are there any appointments to committees or task forces? I don't think there are. Hearing none, seeing none. I will call this meeting to adjourn. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Second by Commissioner Sani. Any objections? Hearing none, this meeting has concluded. Thanks everyone for your help and participation, and we will see you next month. Have a good evening.